Hello, everyone. I am so excited to have everyone here today. Welcome to Be Your Best Version Boot Camp. Super excited. We have legendary Jon Talarico in the house, up in here. Really excited to have Jon Talarico on. So we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to welcome Jon on and tell you a little bit about Jon Talarico. He's a legendary results coach who works with individuals, helping them build business relationships and partnerships that yield amazing results. He helps people to create mindsets that generate wealth in every area of life. In a nutshell, he helps people uncover and discover their $1 million DNA. He's ranked top Bob Proctor mindset and wealth coach, helping individuals reach their goals in business and in life by changing their mindset with personal coaching, and is a great business connector. He's the greatest connector I've ever known. Deidre Calcote here can definitely vouch for that. Can't you, Deidre?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And if it's okay, I have a couple of questions for you, Jon.
Absolutely, Kalisha. So excited to be here. Deidre, great to see you. And congratulations on putting this amazing event together, Kalisha. I'm so proud of you. And it's really, I am honored to be here, really. So fire away, Deidre.
All right. My first question to you is, how did you start on this leg of your journey, Jon, on the TIR, on making people feel so good and develop their own personalities and the money mindset? And I'm sorry, that wasn't the right word. And I'm surprised you didn't look at me funny.
Yes.
The wealth mindset.
The wealth mindset. Exactly.
That's
Deidre.
right.
Great question. And for those of you just listening in, we often will reference TIR. That's called Thinking into Results. That's the program that we teach. And we're fortunate enough to be partnered with, for me, the greatest teacher on human success and potential in the last 60 years, Mr. Bob Proctor. So to answer your question, Deidre, this happened a little over a year ago. And that's why when I speak to people and tell you that you can have whatever you want quickly, like, the universe loves speed, so does success. And so I finally decided, Deidre, for myself to stop doing what I thought everyone else wanted me to do. And outside circumstances, what had been going on the last year and a half, put an end to all the other things that I was doing. And so I made a decision. I said, it's time now, because I put it off long enough to go after what I love. What do I love to do? I've always wanted to teach. I went to school to be a teacher, wanted to teach history, and then that's where it started. The first split really from what my heart's desire, right? Because I allowed the outside influences to tell me that teachers don't get paid any money. And why would I want to do that? Went the complete opposite end of the spectrum, got my MBA in finance, and went off to want to become a stockbroker, and proceeded to get fired from every job I ever had. And it wasn't until last year when I said, right now there is an opportunity with everything being virtual for me to do what I love. And so I became a consultant with Bob Proctor's organization. Last July 27th, we signed up our first client. By December, we had our 100th client. And we, as you two know, have amazing results with our students and clients. And it absolutely is what I love to do, Deidre. I couldn't think of doing anything else.
Well, we're so glad you're here, Jon, because let me tell you now, and I've heard your stories, but I hadn't heard you were a teacher before. So that was new. Thank you for sharing that. And I know you're going to teach tonight and you're going to tell a whole lot. But what I'd like to ask you is, if in one little nugget, what would you give real quickly to someone who is just stepping into their own or just learning how to do this? What would you tell them? I know what you've told me, Jon, but I'd
yes,
like...
Yeah, I tell you, Kalisha, everyone the same thing is stop worrying about the how. How is it going to happen? Because we've been so programmed to live from our five senses, right? What we see and hear basically runs our life. Stop worrying about that and live from your higher mental faculties, your imagination. Dream again, use your intuition, and move with that unwavering faith, not blind faith, unwavering faith, to know that everything's already here that you need to have the life of your dreams.
Well, that is fantastic. Go ahead, Deidre.
I just want, John, maybe you can't answer this real quickly, but I love the story of how you met Bob Proctor. Do you?
Sure. I will give you the condensed version. And this is why when I speak and share, I want to let everyone know that anything's possible. So that's why your life can change and transform just like that. I made a decision that I went to a seminar with Bob Proctor and I listened to him speak about how I could shift my paradigm, that my problem was one of my own making and that I needed to really change my mind. And he showed me a way. Now, as I sat in that 2.5-day event, I sat there and wrote down on a piece of paper, somehow one day I'm going to be in his inner circle and have a friendship, partnership, relationship with him in business. Had no idea how that was going to happen. I certainly didn't have the money to pay for any kind of private coaching or consulting. He doesn't even do that. And I didn't know him. And so, but what I did do is I said, I am not going to give up. And I don't know how it's going to happen, but it will happen. And then what did I do? I used my imagination. Bob played one song that whole weekend, 2.5 days. It's going to be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. And Johnny Nash, after that weekend, I said, this means something to him. I hunted down the guy he was still alive. He was a recluse, no contact information. I had to go and keep digging in Google. That's where you want to be disciplined and not give up. Don't take no for an answer. Mm-hmm. And I found him and called him and asked him to please autograph an album for Bob and framed it, dropped it off at Bob's next seminar. From that point, that was a little over 6 years ago, that hangs now in his office in Toronto. One of his top, 1% of his consultants around the world. And I am honored really to call him a friend, and he's a mentor. And that's why when I teach, I always share with people, don't worry about how it's going to happen, because anything can happen and it can happen quickly. And I've used this same method to build amazing relationships and partnerships with so many wonderful people. And so I won't take time tonight, but when you hear my story, I grew up in Flint, Michigan. So if I can do this, I know anyone can do it. So thank you.
Thank you so much for asking those powerful questions, Deidre. Thank you, John, for that exclusive, insight on how this all got started for you. Success definitely leaves clues, and that is so fantastic because this is a pattern, right, that successful people follow. Even Bob Proctor, right, that's how he gained his mentors and went on his journey, is just being able to envision it and see it. So I want to dive a little bit deeper into the psychology, because I am a big fan of the book Psycho-Cybernetics, and it really changed my thinking in my life. I've actually been reading the book listening, right? I'm a listener. I've been listening to it for about 8 years now, and no wonder why I am in your amazing program, Thinking into Results, really learning how to shift the mindset. I just want to go into how impactful is it to be able to see a person in the mirror and then have an image of yourself internally? How important is it to be able to make that shift inside? Because we know that if we change the outside without changing the inside, nothing really changes.
Exactly. We get what they like to call that seminar high, Kalisha, right? Sunday night we're high, and by the next weekend it's back to normal. So that truly is the Bible, the go-to book for understanding self-image. And for me, I believe that at the root cause of why we don't have what we want, why we don't achieve the goals and dreams that we want, is because we have a poor self-image of ourselves. Now, I know this firsthand because I spent decades with a self-image. From the outside looked great, but on the inside, it was one of someone who couldn't even look at himself in the mirror. So the first step, the first strategy is that we need to master the mirror. And to do that, you want to read Maxwell Maltz's book in 1960. He was a plastic surgeon. You know this, Kalisha, right? And he realized that when he would work on some people and did something to their face, some of them would feel better and they would go on to have amazing results. But then he realized he would do some cosmetic fixes and it wouldn't do anything to people. So it led him to conclude that we have two self-images. The one that we project to the outside world, that we have everything under control, life is great, no worries at all. But we have this other self-image, and it's the one I call that the committee runs, that one, Kalisha, right? And that is the one that tells us that why we can't do certain things, that why we're not good enough, that beats us up, and that is a false self-image. And what we need to understand is that our results in life will never outperform that internal self-image that we have of ourselves. Now, the great news is that we can change that self-image. And so Maltz gives an amazing blueprint. Everything, Kalisha, works by law, right? Everything's already here in one form or another. And when you understand that there are laws to success, that's the top 5% of the people in the world follow, right? Some do it, they don't even know they're doing it. But the others, like Bob Proctor, he'll share with you, right? There are no great secrets in the world other than we become what we think about. So Maltz talks about understanding the need to realize that you have to work on your internal self-image. And that's where it begins, Kalisha, starting to understand that the self-image that you hold of yourself on the inside is truly dictating the results that you're achieving in life.
Yeah, it really is. And I find that so fascinating as well, because for myself, even though I started to make milestone progress, it wasn't until I transformed myself, doing a whole 360 and did the work, creating the habits. You actually showed me how to be able to create those habits. And once I created those habits, it got me to do something on a daily basis and to working on myself. And eventually everything else on the outside changed.
Correct. So there are really only a couple of ways to change our self-image, right? Usually some kind of emotional impact. It's usually something very negative. So we don't want that. The other way is through, as you know, Kalisha, constant spaced repetition. Seeing yourself as the person you wish to become. Actually, I have mine here right in front of me, right? I have all my clients create a self-image vision board. Pick characteristics of the people that you look up to and then incorporate that in your new self-image as you create the person that you truly want to be. And then working on your self-confidence, reading the self-confidence formula from Think and Grow Rich, standing in front of the mirror, getting comfortable, being able to even look yourself in the eye and mastering that mirror, Kalisha, by understanding that you were created in God's image in pure perfection and that we're the ones who mess things up, right? And so we have to, one, have the awareness to know that we can undo that, we can override it, create a new self-image. And then we need to start to understand what Maltz talks about is that all of us have built within us a cybernetic mechanism. And that mechanism can be programmed either for success or for failure. And it's our choice. And the way to program it for success is to use your imagination, right? You dream again. You see yourself with the wish fulfilled. You live, as we talked about, Kalisha, right? Live from the end, not thinking you need to get somewhere. You're already there. It's just see yourself as that person. And then walk with confidence, calmness of mind each and every day, knowing that it's already done whatever you declare because it's created twice in your mind, and then taking certain action, working with the laws of the universe, right? Not against them, but with them, and then moving with that unwavering faith.
Right. And I love how you ended with that, moving with the unwavering faith, because it really is the belief that we have to take on, or else we're just doing these activities and we're just doing them. And I'd love for you to be able to elaborate on that, because a lot of times that's what happens as we go to work on all of the habits, we go to work on writing our goals down, we go to work on all these things, but if we don't have the belief, it's not going to happen either. So that's the biggest part of this all.
Exactly. And Napoleon Hill said it, right? He said the state of mind must be belief, not simply merely hoping or wishing for something. So when we realize, Kalisha, that our goals and dreams, our financial destiny, future is in our hands, we actually have to believe it's true. And that's where a lot of people get stuck, is because, again, back to the self-image, they don't believe it's possible. So somebody who's earning right now $50,000 a year earns that amount of money because they don't believe that they could earn $250,000 a year. So we have to override and change the belief system. And we have to get away from hoping and wishing and thinking that things happen just by luck. No, we create our own luck. We create our own future when we realize that when we make a committed decision and we set a goal and we do things in a certain way, then we can achieve that goal, and we can make quantum leaps by understanding how to program the success mechanism that is built inside each and every one of us.
Absolutely. And I love how you say the success mechanism. In the book, it talks about how our mindset is kind of like a thermometer, and in a way, our success mechanism, sometimes we get like a thermometer when the back door is open, the temperature rises, but then the door closes and it goes back to a set level. And sometimes that can happen with our thinking. We go all in, but then something happens to where we get set back at our default and it seems like we can't push forward. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
We'd be happy to, Kalisha. We hit the infamous terror barrier, right? Because we've been so programmed by our parents, by our conditioning from outside factors to play it safe, to be realistic in our thinking, to not do the illogical. And yet, if you look throughout the course of human history, and even today, the greatest advancements, movements, accomplishments over time have happened because a man or a woman was willing to be unrealistic, to not listen to the outside. And I think we have a slight echo, Kalisha, right?
I think that we do have a little bit of an echo.
No problem. There we go. And so we want to recognize that we're going to, when we make a committed decision and we decide this is where, two things we need to know: where we are today and where we want to go. Where we want to go is an actual place. Everything is always vibrating. It has an emotional frequency there. So we need to know that we want to go there, and we make a committed decision, not worrying about the how. When we do that, what happens? We get excited. We start to raise our vibration. We start to raise our emotions, right? We have new thoughts that cause us to feel a different way. We get excited and we start taking massive daily action. And then what happens? This old thing, the old programming, the thermostat kicks in and says, whoa, 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 Kalisha, slow down. You don't have any, and there's no certificates on the wall. You're not old enough. You don't have enough. All this noise trying to convince you why you can't get it. And so we want to quiet that noise, and we want to override that. That's a paradigm that is meant to keep you safe. Now we want to program ourselves for success. So how do we do that? We have to have a sense of direction. We need to know where we're going. We have to have a goal. And we can talk another time about setting those C-type goals, Kalisha. But we want to set a goal that's going to excite us and that we've never done before. The purpose of a goal is to grow. The next thing you want to have is an understanding of your needs. What is it that you truly, really want? And what do other people in your life want, right? Understand your needs. Understand you're going after what you want, not what you think you can get. And then the C in success stands for courage. Maltz talks about we need to have that courage. As Andrew Carnegie mentions, there will come a time, Kalisha, that all of us meet our other self. And we will realize that we have deep reservoirs of talent and ability, and we can draw on the courage to get rid of this and to blast through that terror barrier to the other side of freedom. Now, other thing Maltz talks about is having compassion for yourself. We always talk about accepting where we are, but with no judgment, knowing that we did the best we could with the information and knowledge that we had up until now. What we're doing and what I teach, my company teaches, is awareness, understanding that we can think our way into the results we want by doing things differently than we've ever done. And then the E in success talks about is esteem, self-respect. We want to like ourselves, want to learn to live ourselves, and to move with confidence, to know that we can have whatever we want just by doing things in a certain way. You don't get rich, you don't get your goals by doing certain things, you get them by doing things in a certain way. Yes. And then self-acceptance, right? Regardless of what we've been through, you are not through it. Nobody's through it. That each day we have a plate, and that we can create the life of our dreams. And as I mentioned, was having that self-confidence.
Absolutely. I do apologize. I'm not sure exactly what the echo is, but this is such great information. I am so excited. Thank you so much for sharing that because we truly can do, be, or have anything that we want. I've absolutely learned so much from you, Jon, from hearing how I can reach my higher level self, or not even reach, but expand myself really, because I have everything inside of me. I love how you always educate people about you don't need to have anything else in this very moment to start doing the things that you really want to do, to start prospering, to start the business, to start, being able to believe for that relationship, right? That next person, being able to have everything you really want can come to fruition based on the belief and getting clear. That's the first thing that I know that when we met, you had me get extremely clear on my goal because I had to know where I'm going. And then everything else after that became a lot smoother because I knew where I was going. I do have another question. I wrote some of my questions down.
Fire away.
How is the mind kind of like, I know we talked about the thermostat, but can you elaborate a little bit on a missile? Because the mind is a little bit like the missile and it realigns us as well once we get off course.
Right. Again, back to our programming, Kalisha, right? We've been programmed to play it safe. So as we go off course, as we start to say, hey, I'm going to launch a coach, even though I don't have listeners, what'll happen? We launched in this, we know where we're going, and yet our subconscious mind, our old programming will say, whoa, back over here. You don't know what you're doing. Why would you leave a job that's secure and you know you're getting a paycheck every week? And you know the story, to go after something that you can't see how it's going to happen. There's no guarantee. And yet that's what living is, Kalisha, right? The other thing is not living. That's just existing with your financial future and your destiny in the hands of somebody else. What we want to do is take control over everything that we want, set the goals that we want to achieve, and not worry about how they're going to happen, but take massive daily action each and every day. That requires us to keep the missile focused on where we're going, right? Not necessarily worrying about, remember, the goal can't change, our plans can't change. And then taking action every day, tracking what we're doing, recognizing our non-productive habits, eliminating those, no judgment, but then not competing with anybody other than ourselves each and every day to be a better version of ourselves every day. And then recognizing that everything's already here, that supply is infinite and unlimited, that nothing is either created or destroyed. So then it becomes an awareness issue. Recognizing that everything's here so that you can have whatever you want. They can all argue about the before and after, Kalisha, right? But while we're here to have fun. We're here to recognize that one unique thing that we do better than anyone else on the planet, extract it and bring it out so that we can change our life, override the old paradigms and programming, and then start to impact our friends and family, our community, and then ultimately help change the world and leave it a better place for our children. And when we transition to that other phase. So while we're here, let's treat everybody if they're the most important person in the world, because to them they are. And that's how we should treat each other, right? And then let's always leave people with the impression of increase. And if you want to change your results quickly, if you're listening right now, change your attitude. And that's why we focus so much on gratitude, Kalisha, right? Each and every day, writing out 10 things that people were grateful for. Now, I also encourage you to write out things that you don't maybe physically have now, but be grateful for the things that are coming because you've already decided that you want them in your mind. And so that's why we teach thoughts can and do become things. So let's make sure we're thinking the right thoughts to have the right kind of things and the right kind of results.
Wonderful. And thank you so much. So we were going to do a quick Q&A at the end, but I want to just dive a little bit more deeper into the person who is extremely maybe frustrated or seems like they can't break through because they're out of focus. So what are some tips you have for anyone who wants to get back in focus and they're having a hard time doing so?
Great. First thing is stop telling yourself you're stuck. Stop telling yourself that you lack discipline. Stop all the negative talk, right? Because words have power. So the first thing you have to do is pause. Now you want to sit and use your imagination. Write out a list of things you would love to do, goals that you want to achieve. Don't worry about the how. And then write out a list and then pick one. Pick a goal and then let's go after it. Now the committee will start to say, well, how in the world will you achieve that? For example, somebody who has that entrepreneurial spirit but is in a job that they don't like. And they tell themselves, when I have this amount of money, I will then make my move, when all these things line up. And guess what, Kalisha, right? There'll always be a different number. Something will always happen, and they'll put off their goals and dreams until they really give up. So, number one, recognize the clock is ticking. That number two, you're here to do something great. Number three, that the longer you hold onto that unique, wonderful, special gift that you have, somebody else is missing out. the ability to impact and change somebody else's lives is lost each and every day that you're holding on to sharing your I call it the million in you, right? That gift with the world. Recognize old programs and habits are there to try to keep you safe. Study every day things like psycho-cybernetics. If you get an opportunity to work with Talika, work with her, because she'll show you how to blast through that terror barrier, how to understand what's going on, and then how to get to the other side. And that's why it's so important that you surround yourself with like-minded people, people like Kalisha, Deidre, all the whole team here that understands that you need to be in a community of like-minded people who create. They don't compete, but they create, they push each other. They understand that accountability is the insurance policy to success, and they're willing to be 100% responsible for what has happened until now and what happens each and every day.
Thank you. Oh my goodness, that is such great information. I really appreciate you saying that, because accountability and the environment are everything. Bob Proctor always talks about that as well. The environment is but our looking glass. And that's very true. I know that if I wasn't in the environment, or if I kept pulling myself in and out and in and out, things wouldn't align the way I really want to see them align. Now I am literally getting out of my comfort zone,
Yes.
doing things I've never seen myself do before. It's exhilarating and I love it. And so I'm able to bring more value to other people in their lives. What would you say to someone who is on fire? They are ready. They're working on their self-image. They're connecting with other people. They're in the environment. What are their next steps with accountability, or showing more value, bringing more value to people in the marketplace?
Right. First thing is recognize that state of vibration you're in, right? Feeling really is the secret to achieving your goal. So recognize that you're in that high vibration. Notice as things, people, places, opportunities start to show up in your life. That is not coincidence. It's not luck, but that you are creating that, and that you want to continue to track exactly what you're doing. Stay laser focused. Use your will to develop the discipline to not allow yourself to get off course, because things are going to come at you, right? And always stay focused on the end result. Live from the end, as Neville Goddard talks about. Live from the end. How do you do that? With determined imagination. Seeing yourself each and every day as the wish fulfilled. The goal is already done. So, Kalisha, you've been amazing in your ability to be accountable, to blast through your own terror barrier, and now to step into what I saw from the first moment I saw you and met you was what a powerful, impactful woman you are that can immediately change people's lives. So you have to have that daily accountability. Why? Because you need somebody in the trenches with you. Why? Because remember, everything works by law, right? So there's a law of opposites. So if you're in this high vibration and things are happening and you're achieving and knocking out your goals and turning that annual income into a monthly income, guess what's going to happen? You're going to swing to the other side, right? There will be some down times, but it's important to remember that you wouldn't know all the good times without that other side, right? And so what we don't want to do is get sucked into when things are perceived to be slowing down, knowing that everything's always happening for you, not to you, but for you. And maybe there always is a lesson in there to help you appreciate all of the good things. And then what do? We have the awareness to recognize, oh, I'm making choices from my old paradigms again. I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm going to make new choices. Why? Because I realize 100% responsibility that I can choose new thoughts each and every moment. I can originate original thoughts in my mind, or when that God energy comes to and through me, I have the ability to choose a negative or positive thought, fear or faith, unwavering faith. And what happens when you choose that unwavering faith, Kalisha, right? Your life starts to accelerate. You feel good. You glow. You're glowing, Kalisha, right? Because you now recognize how powerful you truly are, how beautiful, magnificent you are, and you are impacting and changing people's lives. And so that's what I would say to them.
Thank you so much. I have one more question. This is so great. Last question of the night. I started this journey through Power of Faith, meeting Mr. Les Brown, being coached by him, meeting you. You are a powerhouse of awesomeness, always staying to answer questions, always putting everyone in the light, and showing the best of them. You always want to see the best in other people and really allow them to grow. It quantum speed, right? So I'm really excited to ask you, what is the most amazing, I guess, memory or some of the greatest experiences you've had in launching Brew, right? Your program, working with Les Brown, being able to walk with legends. You're a legend yourself. What is something that is the most amazing memory or experience for you?
My two kids are obviously right up there at the top, Kalisha, right? But from the time you're talking about this period, right? I've been able to manifest the relationship of my dreams, right? I have an amazing woman, fiance, wife, whatever you want to call her. I've been able to manifest that. What really moves me is when I'm able to see people just like me and you, like you here, shining, stepping into your brilliance, Deidre stepping into her brilliance, and seeing their whole physical features actually change as they start to recognize and change from hoping and wishing, frustration and worry, to possibility, confidence, power, and belief. And that when that happens, that is why I do what I do. When I see the results that the clients get, when they finally recognize and say, I actually like myself, and I realize I have a gift and I'm here to do some great things, and I'm going after what I've always wanted to do, and I put it off long enough. That has been the greatest reward for me, and it continues to be the reward of why I do what I do.
Wow, thank you so much for sharing that. I'm so excited myself, because that's something that I really would love to see even more so. And I strive towards that, to be able to be a light in other people's lives and show them just who they really are so they can transform. So I admire everything that you do. Thank you so much for pouring so much into myself. And I have a son as well. So whatever you're pouring into me is pouring into him, and we all flourish, because like you always say, we are all in this together. One of my favorite quotes are one of Bob Proctor's: if you see it in your mind, you will hold it in your hand. Thank you for allowing this all to come true for myself, for everyone here. And I just thank you for being here today. Thank you.
You're very welcome, Kalisha. Congratulations on this event. Just amazing what you're doing this week. Again, reminder, if you get a chance to work with this woman, jump at it. She will transform and change your life. So again, thank you for having me, Kalisha, Deidre, Nicole, the whole team that put all this on behind the scenes. Thank you. And everyone, if you're listening, make sure you recognize, right? The clock is ticking. Go out there. Let's go after your goals and dreams. And Kalisha will show you how to get it. All right?
Thank you so much, Jon. Before we go, can you tell everyone where they can find you at?
Absolutely. You can find me at jontalarico.com, on social media, Instagram at Jon Talarico, and find out more information about what we do on my website. So thank you, Kalisha.
Thank you so much, Jon. Everyone, you've heard it from the expert. Thank you, Jon, for being here tonight. We'll see you later.
All right. Take care. Bye, Kalisha. Good night. Thanks, everyone.
Bye. Wow, everyone. This was so great. Deidre, how was that amazing time, being able to hear so many great things, so much value being put into us by just reprogramming our mind, being able to make that shift, being able to see ourselves for who we truly are, not who we think that we are, because the person that we see in the mirror is not a full expression of who we really are. So by Jon being able to share all of that great, valuable information with us can help us transform our lives if we apply it. Because information, just like we always hear, information is key, information is power, right? But it's not if it's not applied. It's the application that changes and transforms our lives. So what did you think about that, Deidre?
I'm sorry, I turned off my mic because I was trying to make sure I wasn't the echo, but Jon is fabulous. And I so appreciate what he said to us tonight, because, you see people and they'll tell you certain things or say certain things, but Jon is who he tells you he is. I've been in class with him since April, and it has just been amazing. So those nuggets he dropped is just fabulous. He's absolutely right on. And I just so enjoyed that. That was wonderful, wasn't it?
It was. And to be able to hear something that really resonates with him and what was the most rewarding thing for him is to be able to see the growth of other people, being able to see their lives expand, getting excited about their lives was phenomenal, because that comes from being so humble inside, right? We're all striving towards this goal, this dream, this burning desire. And for someone to just say, the greatest reward for me is to see the growth of other people, that's someone you want to connect to.
That's right. And he's going to push you, right? Because I'm telling him, okay, Jon, this is what I want to do, and this is what I want to charge. And he's like, double it, Deidre. And I'm like, what? he really, he sees the value in you. He sees it in you sometimes. He saw it in me before I could see it in myself. And so I've gotten a lot of great nuggets from him. I'm very happy.
Absolutely. And you need someone to be able to see your greater self, borrow their belief until you gain your own. And I know for myself, I've had to do that so many times in borrowing the belief, because it's just not there sometimes when you first start out. And it's that awareness of where you are that makes you so powerful, that ignites everything in your life. Because if you're able to take a real look into where you are in the now, right? Not the cover up, not the whatever it is that you're trying to mask yourself with, but your true real self. Where am I at? Am I getting the results that I'm looking for? And if I'm not getting the results, what do I need to do? What needs to be implanted in my life to do the work so that I can get the results? But it's doing the work that counts. And that really separates this side from the other side. And people always wonder, what is the difference between the people who have it and people who don't? That's the difference. The people who are willing to do the work, as opposed to people who are watching the people who are doing the work. I know that it's such a phenomenal thing to watch a basketball game or watch the football game, but guess what you're doing? You're watching the people who did the work. You could have those same results if you did the work too. And guess what? You'll have other people watching you as well. So we're going to conclude our night. Thank you so much, Deidre, for guiding us through his amazing background, being able to answer or ask those powerful questions so we can get in-depth insight into how this thing came apart or came together, right? It's all about how we first start. And he started with a strong belief, right? Even before he was there, the strong belief and vision of himself. And it all came about because he saw himself there before he really got there. So thank you so much for this empowerment. I'm actually really excited to go as soon as we end here, going to do the work. I am actually in one of Bob Proctor's programs as well. So I have some work to do, and I know you do too, because I know everyone in here was taking notes. Have a wonderful night, everyone. Thank you so much, Deidre. Thank you so much, everyone, for being on the call. I see Esavir here. That's Coach Jon speaking. Yes, Johnny, valuable info tonight. I have so many people in here in the chat showing love. That's me right now, one step at a time. And yes, we want to take one step at a time, because when you're able to take that first step, everything else is just going to follow. So don't even worry about it. Don't hit that terror barrier. And if you do, bust right through. So, all right, we're really ending, everyone. Have a wonderful night. Thank you.
Bye for now.
Bye for now.